former Spurs, Sunderland, West Ham, England striker, Jermaine Defoe. Hi, Jermaine.
How you doing, my man?
Hi, Jermaine. We're good. So the boys say you didn't do too badly. Did you enjoy it? You played much cricket before?
No, I wouldn't say I played much cricket. I remember playing at school. I remember my granddad was a massive cricket fan. Obviously, he's put in the West Indies. It was my St. Lucian background. But yeah, I've got a 6, so I'm happy with that. And like you said, you just mentioned that 100 pitches around the UK and getting people active in the communities. So I thought it was only right. This is the 100th pitch. It was only right that I got a 6. So yeah, I had to produce. Yeah.
It's an area. You're at Charlton Park, and you played at Charlton as a kid, didn't you?
Exactly, yeah. I was at Charlton from, I think, the age of 8, really, until I was 14. Obviously, I signed for West Ham after I left Lillishall at 16. So, yeah, an area that I'm obviously familiar with. But it's just, it's just a fantastic, campaign. All the families are out, the kids and everyone. I've really enjoyed it. It's been good.
Yeah. Off the back of a test match like that, you can understand the interest. We've had such a great series, and I think, a lot of people want to try a bit of cricket, and they're getting the opportunity to do that today.
Not only today as well, it's all year round, because obviously it's an AstroTurf pitch, isn't it? So it's all year round. They can come out and, like I said, with the families and that, come out and play. And 100 pitches, a lot of pitches, around the UK and that. So yeah, it's getting people active. And you come out and have fun, socialise, communicate. I think it's good for everyone, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'd say, Jermaine, that you're saying you did okay, but a 6 is pretty good going, considering you haven't played for a while.
Yeah.
I know. There was a few people that was like, oh, here we go. But I wanted to play a lot longer, to be honest, than that. But sometimes you've got to take yourself out your comfort zone. And like I said, I remember playing at school. A lot of it was indoors, but even when I played at school, I remember I loved it. You know what it's like. Once you get the bat, you don't even want to put it down, even when you're out. So yeah, it was really good. And obviously, it was really good to meet the pros as well.
Yeah.
Speaking to different people and different sports and stuff, and I've been invited to a match, so that's something I'm looking forward to.
No, have a night out. Before we talk a bit of Spurs as well, it's interesting times for them off the back of winning a trophy at the end of last season. But new manager, what did you make of the change of manager? I mean, there was a fair few people who felt maybe Ange deserved a bit more time, but what was your take on that?
I think Daniel Levy summed it up, really. I don't know if you've seen the interview with Gary Neville. It was quite interesting, to be honest. I think he summed it up in terms of you have to think big. And I know, obviously, the European trophy was, I think, if you take away the emotional bit about that and think about, obviously, finishing 17th, losing 22 league games out of 38. We're talking about Tottenham Hotspur. It's a massive football club, with great history. You shouldn't be finishing 17th in the Premier League. Let's be totally honest. But, listen, we want to... Ange done what he said he would do in terms of winning a trophy, so he deserves a lot of credit. But then, I think with someone like Thomas Frank coming into the building, he's someone that's well respected in the game. I was lucky enough, actually, last season. I actually went into Brentford. I was invited in by Justin Cochran, and I spent a day there. And I was in the team meeting, and I watched training. And I was really impressed, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to this season, and I was happy that we appointed Thomas Frank.
Yeah. And now Sonny's moved on, and tonight he's going to be unveiled, as they say, as a new LA player. He's going to be a tough man to replace. I mean, have you thought about who you'd like to see maybe coming in to replace him?
You know what? It's mad that you said that. I actually said that. When you these kind of special footballers, it's so difficult to replace them. It was a special player, a special human being. I'm sure you've heard that a lot from people, and it's definitely the truth. Around the place, the way he conducted himself, the support that he brings with him. I come across him a few times, and the love that I get from him, like genuine love, and just an amazing player. Over 170 goals for Tottenham, European trophy, captain, led by example. He was one of those captains that would scream and shout, but he led by example. In how he went about his business every day. So you want to wish him all the best. It'll be strange for him, to be honest. So when you've been at a football club for so long, I went through it a little bit. I was at Tottenham 9 years, and obviously I went to Toronto and that, and then just going to a different dressing room, putting on a different shirt. At first, it feels really strange, but listen, he's still got a lot of goals left in him, and I'm sure these people in the MLS are looking forward to watching such a great player play.
Yeah, the other player they need to possibly deal with at the moment. We don't know how bad James Maddison's injury is, but Kulusevski is injured. Maddison looks like he's going to be out for a while. They're going to need somebody creative. There's been a lot of talk about Eza. Grealish, we're hearing, could be off to Everton. Have you thought about who might be a good... Would you like to see come in potentially in that position, Jermaine?
Well, those two names that you just mentioned, obviously we've got the injuries. Kulusevski is like world class for me. Maddison, when he's there, the best version of James Maddison, just makes things happen in the final third. But I think Eze, like you just mentioned, and Grealish looks like obviously the Everton, he's going to go Everton, and it sort of like makes sense for him. He's got to play football, obviously, and plus he's obviously close to Manchester because obviously his family and stuff like that. So it sort of like makes sense, and it's an amazing football club, new stadium, amazing manager, David Moyes' experience. We'll give him the freedom to go and play and express himself. Eze is someone who, if this makes sense, a Tottenham player, someone that plays with freedom, and you look at the great players over the years that the club have had, technically how good he is and how confident he is, and again, another special footballer. If that can happen, then of course it's only good for the team, because obviously when you get these injuries, especially long-term injuries, you need to obviously replace these players.
But I mean, Son's gone, he's left Jermaine, and maybe, Maddison could be out for a long time. But how do you see Spurs at the moment going into the new season? João Palhinha, I think, is a great signing. Kudus looks like he's going to have an impact as well.
Yeah, João Palhinha is like a top player. He's only going to improve the squad. He's only going to improve the team. Kudus, someone who I've liked for a long time, so even before he went to West Ham. And you've seen in pre-season already what he brings, in terms of how dynamic he is, how strong he is. And I believe, even when he's at West Ham, I still believe that he can do a lot more in terms of goals and assists. So hopefully he'll bring that this season. But yeah, I mean, I think we'll see. I think it's important to start well. I know sometimes you can start slow and end up doing well. And I mean, when Nuno was there, we started well and stuff. And then obviously with Ange, I think the first 10 games when he first come in, people talk about Tottenham winning the league. So I think you have to start well and try and maintain it. But, I think with the new signings hitting the ground running, that's important. But I just feel like with this new manager, he would demand that anyway. He would drive those messages with Justin Cochran and the staff that are there every single day. Like the importance of playing for Tottenham, and from what I saw when I went into Brentford, the training and stuff, like first hand, and that, he's a top coach.
Oh, that's good to hear as a Tottenham fan. I want to talk Sunderland as well, back in the Premier League. I know you were up there recently. You're still involved with the Bradley Lowry Foundation, and you loved your time up there. I think we just hope they can, from their point of view, buck the trend and stay up and start to consolidate in the Premier League.
Yeah, I know it's not easy, is it? The teams obviously that come up, and it's not easy to stay in the Premier League. I mean, it seems like the hardest league. I mean, it's always been the best league in the world, in my opinion. But like you love to see these teams sort of like come up and stay. Obviously, I know they've spent money, but a sleeping giant. I've always said it. Sunderland, it's a sleeping giant. I think it's a Premier League football club. As well as obviously Leeds, Premier League clubs with massive fan base. When it's going well there, I mean, it's a special place to play. If you speak to any player that's played there, when it's going well, it's special. And the fact that these young players get an opportunity to experience that in the Premier League, and I'm really happy for them. I was actually up there yesterday doing some stuff for the Bradley Lowry Foundation actually, and even that sort of like you can sense the excitement about being back in the Premier League and that. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can go to a few games this year, especially the Newcastle one. Looking forward to that. Be on the other side of it and not get all the pressure. It should be good.
Just finally, Alex played at Soccer Aid with you the other week, Jermaine, and he said you could have passed it a bit more.
You're lethal. I was saying how lethal you were in training, Jermaine. Every time you get the ball, it's touch at your feet, shot.
I know. Even at Soccer Aid in training, and listen, you can speak to any player that I've played with. They'll tell you. I think they'll laugh if they hear that statement. JD, pass it in the box. Sometimes I used to shoot and Crouchy used to look at me, and I'd just be like, "Oh, Crouchy, sorry, mate," and he'd be like, "It was the funniest thing." But it's like once, listen, even if it was training, I've just always been the same, to be honest. I remember when I was at school playground, if I didn't score, I'd be sulking all day. And when I was at Tottenham, all the clubs I played for, just those good habits really never leaves you. So, but I enjoy Soccer Aid. You meet some amazing people, and to be a part of it again this year was really special. Yeah,
brilliant. Well, good to talk to you, Jermaine. Enjoy the rest of your day. All the best. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
There we are. This Jermaine Defoe there. Our thanks to him.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.